Welcome to a fraudulent Wednesday here in the Eric Zane Show podcast. I am so glad you are here, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures each and every day of the work week. My gosh, yes. Blazing through it once again. Dear Meathead happens in 58 minutes with my multi-talented 89-year-old father. He'll be 90 in March. Excited about that, as always. We'll get Dad in here. If you have a question for Dear Meathead, anything at all that you want to run up his flagpole, he loves to hear from you. Send it in on the Shoreliners strifing inbox. Eric at ericzaneshow.com. If you need any advice about stuff going on in your life, maybe about, I don't know, simple stuff around the house, a project, kids acting up. Maybe you're torn in a life decision about what to do. I know I have one I could run by him. I want to buy a snowmobile, a snow machine. I don't think I want to buy a brand new one. But Charity Scam Mike, he has set up shop on the property up north with his family since the rug got pulled out from under him. And he's got his trailer on the property right next to my old one. So that's awesome. But he wants a place to be able to go and head up north and ride around on the snowmobile trails on his snow machine. He's got a whole bunch of snow machines. I go, well, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it. And he goes, you should come up with us. I've never done that. I've never ridden on a snow machine, ever. And he goes, you don't even need one. I've got one. So maybe I'll do that. I'll just use his instead of just, hey, I've never done this before in my life. Let me go buy one. That'd be horrible. It sounds like too much of a big decision, something that I should wait on. I'm the only guy who can start out with, yeah, I think I'm going to buy. No, it's a bad idea. What an idiot. So looking forward to hearing Dad on the show in a little bit. Stand by. I got to drink this. And boy, do I need it. Oh, my God. This coffee. One more. That's it. It's gone. I got the grogs. I woke up and I was like, you got to be kidding me. It cannot be time. No way. Did not feel good. Did not go to sleep in a timely fashion. I was just laying there. I even took an emergency pill. An emergency pill is one that when you're having a panic/anxiety attack, you take that thing and it kind of brings you down, you know? Makes you tired. Relaxes you a little bit. I had I was ticking a little bit with anxiety. Just a couple of things popped up. And they are always irrational. They never come true. But in the moment, I've talked about it again and again. This is going to happen. And it's the weirdest damn thing. What never happens at that moment, I'm convinced it's going to happen. And all I can do is when I'm having that feeling of, all right, something terrible is going to happen. My toolbox, I open up my toolbox, it's my metaphorical toolbox. I go, all right, unpack the one about how this is never going to happen. It never does. And usually that helps me. But it didn't really help this time. So I was like, all right, plan B. Pharmaceuticals. Grab the pill bottle. That was good. You know, I eventually fell asleep, but I don't know if it was because of the drugs. I made the fatal mistake of, I was exhausted at like 3:30, 4 p.m. I was like, I got to lay down. I got to take a nap. I am never one to just power through. When I'm tired, I rest. I lay down. I get about 45 minutes in, and it's awesome. I wake up. I don't know where I'm at. 4:45 in the afternoon, or 4:15 in the afternoon. I'm like, holy shit. Takes me a while to get out of bed. What do I do then? I slam a Coke. Now, this is not good for me. If I want to be in bed at the right time that I normally am, which is like, 9 o'clock, I can't be taking naps in the back half of the afternoon and slamming Coca-Colas. These aren't great things. And so I'm just laying there, wide awake. Oh. I finally, at like, 10:45, put the phone down. You get a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, you can't be looking at the phone. No, bullshit. The phone is what puts me to sleep. I don't even turn on the TV anymore. My God. So then I can't sleep. And then I remember that Amanda had given me some information that Odd Tinkering has a new video out. This is the dumbest thing ever. This guy makes YouTube videos. No talking, just maybe a few captions written down of him, his hands, gloved hands with protective gloves, restoring things. He's the guy who restored the old Atari 2600 that was in a flood. He takes it all apart, cleans it, and gets it running. These restorations, I cannot believe how amazing these are. And it's just the dumbest thing in the world. It's like, I always used to love that show, How It's Made. And this is like in that type of, it fulfills that. He's got a one of a Japanese steak knife that looks like he got it, from the bottom of the ocean. It's so corroded. And he's earned enough money on these YouTube videos that he buys this. He keeps upgrading his tools, And he has this laser. You put the rusted Japanese steak knife, in this compartment, in this laser compartment, and then you turn the laser on, and the rust just disappears magically. It's the most amazing thing ever. He brings this Japanese steak knife back to life. And I was like, oh, my God. But then I was not yet tired. Ryan has seen all these. I see he's commenting about the knife one was amazing. He says the white PS3 episode, fell asleep watching it. Damn it. He has a toy R2D2 from 1977. It's a remote-controlled R2D2. And it's probably 8 inches tall. And it's completely not functioning. He takes it apart, and I ended up falling asleep with just a handful of minutes in it, and it worked. So this guy restoring stuff, I was fighting it. I was actually, my eyes were falling asleep or closing. I was like, oh my God, I'm losing it. It's working. It has worked. I'm like, well, I just got to hang on for 5 more minutes. I was like, fuck it. Shut it down. Very refreshing, writes that guy is a wizard. I like how he does things like plating. He does plating, electro, when you put the whatever it is he wants to plate into liquid and has an electric current running through it, and the next thing you know, it's got a chrome plating on it. My God. He does a lot of stuff like that. And I don't know. The plastic on the R2D2 was a yellow. Okay, R2D2 is not yellow. He takes all the plastic parts and he puts it in a solution, like a hydrogen peroxide solution, and then turns on some special light, and then you actually see it overnight become white somehow. I've tipped off a lot of people about this, or maybe they knew about it before. Ryan has become a fan. The ice cream maker one was crazy too. It was a 150-year-old ice cream maker. Shit, I could watch these all day. Chris with a terrible joke that I am not going to even mention. What is wrong with you? So eventually, I freaking fell asleep. But it was way too late. And then with my malfunctioning prostate gland completely wrecking everything. And I'm thank God I have a doctor's appointment, because I have to report to buyers, look, dude, I know you gave me the medicine, but this thing is still acting up. The Flomax, I'm just beating the hell out of the Flomax. It doesn't seem to have any effect. I wake up in the middle of the night, have to go pee, and then I just stand there. I have to think my way through it. And then finally, trickle, dribble, stupid, and a thimbleful of pee comes out. My bladder still has pee in it, but it's decreased enough that it isn't uncomfortable. I lay down. 15 seconds later, I have to pee again. I've had it. That thing is just choking off my pee tube. Real problem. And again, I don't know what to expect. I mean, I don't think it's anything more than just an enlarged prostate. And I don't know if that necessarily means you're going to get cancer of the prostate. I know it's a very common cancer in dudes. And the key is to catch it early. Have you gotten a PSA score? No. I have had it. I have gone to the doctor. I explained to him my symptoms. He did check it digitally. And I will never forget that, because I was like, dude, you can't just jam, doc. You can't just cram it up there. I've heard what Kent has said. Every male will have prostate cancer. Yes, if you live long enough, you will eventually get prostate cancer. I've heard that too. When the doc checked, I was like, oh my God. And he's doing a total inspection. And it was a horrible feeling. was actually painful. And he goes, nope, I don't detect anything worth worrying about. Take the medicine, you'll be fine. Well, I'm not fine. In fact, sitting here right now, I got to go pee. And that I cannot even concentrate when I have to pee. But I'm going to have to. All right, so I woke up, felt like shit. Down 1 cup of coffee. And I had to get that second one in. I feel barely capable to pull this nonsense off for yet another Eric Zane Show podcast. As I indicated to you, it is a fraudulent Wednesday. So I'm recording. Who are these Zanes? Who are these free beers? And we're doing the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast all in the back half of the day. All right. Who are these Zanes? Who are these free beers? And the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. I'm excited about that. On the Who Are These Free Beers episode, I have a ton of material that I pulled from a recent show, the recent Free Beer and Hot Wing show that was last Friday. I have a number of examples of moments in time where free beer fires off a joke that in the room nobody gets and nobody responds to. And he kind of, I don't even know why he busted them out. I think that they were in his brain, and he gets into like mental fights in his brain about what to say and what not to say. And usually the bad joke that leaves is proof that he's what has won that war in his head. The problem is when it comes out, he doesn't have all the pieces of the joke to make it funny, or all the information, or maybe key components that he's trying to remember. And I just don't understand. And it all comes down to what's going on in your brain that makes you decide to just burst out with a joke that you're not even sure how that joke goes in your head, let alone when it's leaving your mouth. Numerous examples of things that they should not be talking about. Specifically, the great living room debate. They actually had a debate on their show about living rooms and how the term is obsolete, and in a person's home, you don't need to have a living room. And when you hear it, you'll be like, why the fuck are you even having this conversation on the radio? Nothing in the landscape of the conversation is worth planting a flag and saying I'm pro living room or I'm against living room. We'll get to that. So that's all coming up on a fraudulent Wednesday. Ben and I will have those. If you are on Patreon, we'll have Who Are These Free Beers and Who Are These Zanes live. You'll be able to watch it as we are going over and reviewing the material. It won't be live where you are like on the show with us like it is during the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. But that is the quickest way to get these shows before everybody else on the audio podcast. Eventually, they are made available within a day or 2 or 3. But if you want them as they happen, 3 shows today on Patreon. Who Are These Zanes? Who Are These Free Beers? And the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. One after the other, starting at about, 5:20 or so, and ending at about 8:30. That's a lot. That's why it's a fraudulent Wednesday. You've got 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes of morning podcast, plus an additional 3 hours afternoon/evening podcast. That's fraudulent. Okay? Don't ask me. I didn't think it up. But if you guys want to call it a big fraud Wednesday for marketing purposes, I'm okay with it. I am all right with being fraudulent. Speaking of fraudulent, Trump indicted again for the 3rd time. Now, honestly, me to sit here and try to unpack this is ridiculous. I don't know if anybody even cares. The guy's been indicted 3 times now this year. Hush money for a porn star. documents, and now trying to overthrow the election. The big argument from the Republicans is, oh, okay, well, what about Biden? What about in his business dealings with his brother? I 1,000,000% feel that he is also should be indicted. Without a doubt. These two are the worst. And I kind of want it all to go because, at the end of the day, if Biden is the president of the United States, if Trump is the president of the United States, none of that is going to affect me in running the Eric Zane Show podcast household. Nothing. Okay? It's something to talk about, frankly. That's about the extent of what I look at this. The only place where I divide, the thing that I can't stand about Trump is all of the, first of all, the people that support him drive me up a wall. But whatever, I can get past that. Some of these social issues that Trump is kind of not behind piss me off. Is this going to matter? No. Trump is probably going to win in the upcoming election. We very well could have a scenario, ladies and gentlemen, where the president is Donald Trump and he pardons himself. And I kind of want to live through an era where that happens. I kind of want to be in a life, in a world where he stands in front of America and says, I hereby declare that I am pardoned for these things, which, I've heard it brought up now 2 or 3 times by various talking heads, the potential of him pardoning himself. And if you're a Democrat, and I am not, if you are, let me back up. If Chris Christie won the nomination, you're damn well sure I would vote for him. I don't know if I'd vote for Pence, but I would for sure vote for Chris Christie. I don't think I would vote for what's the guy's name from Florida. I would not vote for him, and I'm undecided on Nikki Haley, but it isn't going to matter because if you add up all of the votes that those people get in the primary, and then if you add up all the poll points, that of all of them is not going to surpass Trump. He continues to just be a juggernaut. It doesn't matter. And the fact that he will be going up against Biden, who's an absolute disaster. My God. If you're the Democrats, you're like, we just wish we could put somebody out there that has a chance. But in my opinion, he doesn't. I am starting to think more and more that it is going to be Trump's day in a year and 3 months. I cannot believe that we have to put up with this for a year and 3 months. I'm looking forward to the Republican primary debates, so I think that those will be fun. I always love those. All right. Pat McAfee. Wait a minute. What was I going to talk about? I think I forgot something. I was going somewhere with that. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Pat McAfee is a remarkably popular podcast host. The good. The dude somehow has managed to become incredibly popular. Despite, he was a punter in the NFL. I doubt outside of the team that he punted on, I think was the Colts. I had never heard of him when he was a player or punter. And then he starts doing his podcast, and then his name starts popping up more and more over the years. And he has he has A.J. Hawk on that show, who doesn't really provide too much. He kind of just stares into the camera. And he has a type of vibe where a lot of ball busting between the players on the show. Guy chat, guy stuff, guy talk. And they talk a lot of sports and drama from silliness in the world. Not that different than any other lighthearted sports talk radio show that you might find. And, he's incredibly popular. And he also has a prominent spot in WWE. And he just recently signed a deal with ESPN for tens of millions of dollars. Yeah, prior to that, he was teamed up with, I don't know what it was, some online casino or DraftKings or some shit, and, just making a ton of money. And I look at that model, and it's like, I give the guy all the credit in the world. He started doing the podcast and built it to where it is right now. You gotta love that. Something from nothing. But, okay, the latest bit of heat, though, he busted out a reference to Larry Nassar. And a friend of his who works on the show they were having a discussion about the football uniforms, one of the alternate uniforms for the Michigan State Spartans. And McAfee referenced Larry Nassar. Football uniforms are ridiculous. I'm trying to locate them right now. What the hell they look like. And, yeah. I don't hate the uniforms. I love a lot of the alternate uniforms. I know that they're gaudy as hell, but who cares? Michigan State went with the pants that are like a light lime sherbet, perhaps, with the dark green tops or shirts. No one calls them tops. And Evan Fox is the one. He says, I still can't believe Michigan State thought it was okay to roll out these uniforms. And then Pat McAfee throwaway comment on July 30th was, I think Nassar was in on the design team, actually. Well, first of all, there's nothing funny about that. If that made sense, and it doesn't. Nothing of that one-liner is actually humorous. I don't even know what he was thinking. I think Nassar was in on the design team, actually. That tells me that this is just a throwaway joke that doesn't make any sense. But boy, did it blow up. So most people who weigh in on this think that this is a comment that means that what the fuck? Dude should be fired. Pat McAfee should be canceled completely, and because of this. And people were like, you should apologize. And he's like, He kind of doubled down on it. From all the comments people are making, when I first heard it, I was, and I don't care for McAfee. He's just kind of like he's a bro, and he's not that great at what he does. And the show seems like everybody on it is on cocaine to begin with. But whatever, there's a ton of people that love it. But these are his comments in responding to all the backlash. And I'm going to want your thoughts, too, as to how you think, how offensive this is that he said, I think Larry Nassar was in on the design.
Streets were talking. I think they missed us.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. I think there were some people that missed us.
Some.
Go green, Foxy.
Go white.
You son of a bitch.
Oh.
You son of a bitch.
And if you've never seen Pat McAfee, he does most of his show while standing. He's a lot of high energy, 36-year-old dude.
Hey, listen, I don't want to say it because, there is a all-out onslaught against me right now for simply linking one terrible thing from a school with the most terrible thing from the school to a friend in a reply tweet, talking shit to a friend.
Yes. Right.
And I do apologize if some people took that in a different way and then spun it in their own narrative to offend a bunch of other people and then kind of did that whole thing. I was simply talking shit to my friend. But does it feel like Michigan State alum are trying to silence some media whenever they acknowledge that Larry Nassar, one of the most horrible humans
ever
of all time?
Yeah.
He was at Michigan State 14 years.
Long time.
So that's not really a part of the story. They kind of created, empowered, and so like, if that's going to get us canceled, when we get,
Foxy knew. Just wait.
we're
in trouble.
No, it's going to get loud.
Loud.
It is going to. I was thinking that yesterday as I was reading this thing. People were, you need to delete this and apologize. I'm like, why? I'm talking shit to my friend about something that definitely happened at his school, and I said this guy's on a design team.
Yes, you did, and it didn't make sense. It was just, I don't know. I guess we can't. I guess they're saying you can never utter his name in a flippant way. That's what people are saying. You can never speak to this. And I guess my take on this is, so when you just make a benign throwaway reference to him, that means somebody gets fired. I oftentimes put myself into these scenarios. Now, I would never say the exact thing that he said because it doesn't make any sense. Not that I don't say things that don't make sense, but fuck, this seems ridiculously aggressive. The response to him, it's almost, it's just too much. If only there's be a way of just, oh, come on, knock it off. You don't talk about him. I don't know. But people are killing this guy. And I do not like this guy. I think he's a dildo who's immensely popular.
Like, if he was the least of anybody, this guy has done the worst imaginable. So if he did design those terrible jerseys that Michigan State had as well, that wouldn't even be mentioned in the Larry Nassar entire thing.
No.
I want to let everybody know who's coming after me. We believe Larry Nassar, terrible human.
Sure.
Worst human. Disgusting human. I would like to say this show covered that more than probably anybody.
Pretty extensively.
More than anybody
Definitely
about
more
how
than
bad of a
Michigan
guy
State
he is. I think
Definitely.
I don't like the whole him just speaking to the peanut gallery and they all just sit around and agree with him. Yes, it's true, but that's what most of the show is.
More than anybody did. So there was a lot of people like, oh, you think this guy's not? It's like, well, no. What I'm saying is, terrible guy. Also, Foxy School.
Yes.
Right.
So I am, and
Where it
now
was.
I do appreciate that Michigan State all kind of came together seemingly around me. There's people talking shit, terrible shit to me. I mean, they were saying some awesomely terrible things to me. But all I could really think about the entire time is like, when Epstein Island gets brought up on.
Man, oh man.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Penn State is undefeated.
Yeah, wait till AQ's here.
Oh my God,
What
AQ's
happened
going to
there?
be right in there. It's like, we need to tell people that there's disgusting, horrible people in powerful positions. We can't this isn't something where it's like, hey, can't talk about this. No, it's like, hey, in our history, very recent history, people were given a lot of power that were very terrible people in the sports world. And the way we decide to cover it is by talking shit to somebody who loves everything about Michigan State because it's his school.
Okay. So I see exactly what he's saying there, and I think it's valid. I mean, if everything is the same, you can't make a crack about Penn State and their cover-up of Jerry Sandusky, or Michigan State and their being well aware of the terrible things of Larry Nassar, or let's just jump into the terrible things that Adolf Hitler did. People make references to all of these things in the course of conversing and dialogue, and of course they're off color. They're illustrations to make a point. Was his illustration good? It was a stretch. It was a leap in logic, but I don't think he wakes up in the morning, Pat McAfee, and says, hey, I want to go and break the hearts of people who were molested by this psychopath. I can't get behind that. It's too much to me.
Right.
If I went to Michigan State and this whole thing happened, if they didn't say that to me, we would be avoiding something that is very serious, very terrible, and very real. So I do apologize to everybody that just took my
If you can't say anything about something that's as serious as that with to provide a degree of levity to it, and that's what this is, even though it's poor, that's an attempt at it. I cannot get behind he must be fired. We have to end this man's career and that. No way.
word tweet and then said that I was disrespecting this and not thinking about the victims. It's like, what? I think we're thinking about the victims, future victims, and everything by reminding people that this motherfucker had a lot of power at Michigan State for a long time while being a terrible human being. And I'm just shit talking a friend.
I was going to say, you're taking a shot at a buddy. It's as simple as that.
But I have to, it was an eye opener, though.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's an eye opener because this is not going to get better. We live in a day and an age where if the pitchforks and the tiki torches are out, they can quickly mobilize against you and the walls will close in. And that's just how it goes. There's no way to get out of this anymore because there have been enough people successful in their campaigns to bring people down that it's well documented that all you need to do is get a bunch of people together, fire off some keyboard warrior messages to higher ups, and they will fold. They will turn on you.
It's an eye opener.
Definitely realized some things, but it's not as if it's just those things too.
Dude's mullet.
Like, wait till they hear when we talk about the COVID summer of 2023.
Oh,
I mean, there are so many other venues.
I was thinking that yesterday.
Back, boys, it's back.
I saw your response.
Yeah, so good.
And I saw you promoting a movie. You know, there was people try to get
Bingo.
People try to get you.
I heard
out.
that's a must watch.
Yeah, well, there's another one. You know, I mean,
I didn't see it, but I'm saying.
There's a lot of that happening. So as I put that tweet to Foxy, like, heard Nasser was on the design team too, actually. Right. Send, put my phone down. Wife and I go to State Fair.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Right.
Seeing a lot of people, having a blast.
Exactly.
Then, by the way, for those that are new to the program, like, any time Michigan State gets brought up.
Anytime.
I mean, that's probably, like, when I send that tweet, I'm not even, that was a team. Like, I thought that was super.
All right, as if you're watching the live stream, you're seeing just a catastrophe unfold in front of our eyes. There it is. I had lost the visual of this clip. I need to back that up because I wasn't listening to any of what he said.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? It was an eye opener.
Definitely realized some things, but it's not as if it's just those things too. Like, wait till they hear when we talk about the COVID summer of 2023.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
there are so many other venues.
I was thinking that yesterday.
Back, boys, it's back.
I saw your response.
It's funny because what he's referencing there is that COVID is on the rise right now. And so they've probably discussed a time or two about this. And I mean, in my brain, I've been talking to myself about how I would approach it if COVID takes off again. And I have a schematic in my brain about how I want to address it. And it's all bad, but it's stupid. It's supposed to be. Okay? And though that was a horrible thing that killed millions of people, including my mother, if that is the jumping off point, there could very well be people who say, how dare you make light of something that is so terrible? We are going to tell on you and cancel you. And it's like, well, of course what I'm saying is ridiculous. That's my job. I'm supposed to have a stupid take about it so that the person consuming the dumb material that I spew out while above my garage like an idiot is supposed to be taken with the smallest grain of salt. That's the point. It's a different approach. And I try to cultivate that environment on a regular basis. So any jackass who listens to what this bro says and goes, "Oh, how dare you!" Yeah, get a grip. My God, I'm sorry. I cannot. No, I'm not sorry. You cannot do that to this man. As much of a douchebag as he is.
So good.
And I saw you promoting a movie. You know, there was people trying to get
Bingo.
people trying to get you
I heard
out.
that's a must watch.
Yeah, well, there's another one. Yeah, I mean,
I didn't
there
see
was-
it, but I'm saying.
There's a lot of that happening. So as I put that tweet to Foxy, like, heard Nasser was on the design team too, actually. Send, put my phone down. Wife and I go to State Fair.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Right.
Seeing a lot of people, having a blast.
Exactly.
Then, by the way, for those that are new to the program, like, any time Michigan State gets brought up,
Anytime.
I mean, that's probably, like, when I send that tweet, I'm not even, that was a team. Like, I thought that was super, like, no, I didn't think it was going to cause anything.
When I read it, didn't even.
The reason why it caused something is to my original point. Enough nonsense has happened where everyday Joe Schmoes, all they have to do is squawk, get enough people behind it, take whatever they want out of context, and just go to town. It turns into these crazy witch hunts.
Didn't even think twice.
Nope.
It was a reply tweet too. Hey, this is directly to my guy.
Yes.
So anybody that's going to see this are people that follow me and Foxy. Now, obviously, with the world we're in, everything's public knowledge.
Right.
But then I got everybody telling me I need to delete it and all that shit. I'm like, well, if I delete and apologize for that, like, I think it's about to be 150 shows we're going to have to delete off the internet.
That's true.
It's like, I will talk shit about bad people forever.
That's right.
Sue me. Don't actually.
Right.
Please.
Shout out Brett Favre.
That's right. Favre tried suing his ass, and it ended up blowing up in Favre's face. Yeah. There's no way in hell me, with the shit that I talk on a regular basis, could ever be, oh, we got to get him. We got to get him. Now, if there's malice and intent to harm and you know, going out of like hate speech, attacking a group of people, and except the former Zaniacs, and this is stupid. So no, I have some close personal friends who I heard beat up dude there, McAfee. I was like, yeah, I wish I was there with you discussing it so that I could give you some truth, so you ding-dongs could put down your pitchforks and your tiki torches and give you some logic here. You can't just do this to every single person who makes a simple crack, who has done nothing but, cover it in an appropriate way, ripping this guy a new asshole on a regular basis. That and what he says, in my opinion, is not something that is hurtful towards people who were molested by that man. Now, if he went and said, and this is a quote, if he went and said, yeah, hey, you know what? Larry Nassar victims need to get over it, or something heinous like that, well, that's an entirely different ball of wax. But I'm not gonna sit there and blow this fucker up over that. Shut up. I do not accept that. Kyle says his show is not listenable anymore. He says something 100 plus staff around him say he's right. I kind of picked up on that. Patrick says, I don't get it. You'll end up with free beer and hot wings if they keep canceling or attempting to cancel people over comments like this. Nazis get a bad rap, says Shawner. Corey says the difference is Hitler jokes are actually funny. Maureen says, I agree, Eric. Don't listen if you don't like him. See, the thing is, though, he just signed with Disney or ESPN for $85 million. So people sense that they can mess with this guy. So then they have to put up with that. And too often there have been times when companies fold under that pressure. And, I mean, in my own little microcosm of a world, I experienced that in my own way in the last month and a half. And now it's a little, I mean, it's different, but it's the same. Corey says, I'm mad, Penn State, the university now has no repercussions for knowingly helping a child rapist for 40 years. No, they definitely had repercussions. Maureen says, I don't think he should be fired for it, but no one needs to bring up Larry Nassar in a flippant way. I can see how it's terribly offensive to his many victims. Shauner says, just like you can't make Sandusky boy butt poking jokes. Yeah, some would argue that you just saying that is enough to get like me just reading that. They would want, oh, look at what he said. Rich says it's not offensive, but it was dumb. It was done for the ratings and to get people to talk about his stupid show. I mean, he's got plenty of ratings. I don't think he leans into it that much. I think we can all agree, though, that the uniforms probably will be roundly hated. Widely hated and panned. All right. That's my take on Pat McAfee. And I have to go to the bathroom. I'm amazed I was able to get this whole bit out, this whole segment out. It's terrible. I'm going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Ben Glaze is in here. Hey, Ben. Glad that you're here. I hope you're still here. Ben has a, he's quoting a drop of Joe Paterno, the late Joe Paterno. There was a Big Ten promotional video went out years ago where the coaches would say something, hey, come to Michigan. And one of them was Joe Paterno goes saying, come to Penn State. And we played that drop 8 billion times over the years. That's a great example. So the way the drops always, sometimes it's like if we would play that drop, let's say there's a story about a pedophile on the loose. And then out of the blue, you would hear, come to Penn State, Joe Pa. Okay, that's funny. That's a ridiculous connection being made. It's just awesome. That is the type of reference that if we did that under today's lens, we should be fucking fired. Ben is shedding some light on us that our pal Justin is, I guess, back at it. He's referencing Ben again. Let's see what's going on here. God, I so suck at Instagram. I don't know, Ben. What am I looking at? He wrote something that we will cut. Ben was referenced on Justin's Instagram. And we'll talk about it today on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. Justin, formerly of the Free Burn Hot Wing Show. And also the guy behind Who Are These Justins? We've gotten to a point with shows where, oh, God, there's so much going on with the various shows that we have. It's almost too much to keep up with. Ben says, I sent you a picture of what he sent. Oh, no. He wrote, can we be friends again at the Ben Glaze? I miss seeing you in my DMs. I guess like half a decade ago, Ben sent him a DM. So Justin says, can we be friends again? I miss seeing you in my DMs. Okay, that's corny as fuck. You don't miss Ben in your DMs. You're not sitting around going, oh, I miss Ben. You're just saying that because Ben helped review your show with me. Ben is not your enemy, nor am I. Don't ever mix up us reviewing a shitty podcast or a shitty show with we don't like you. I don't know who likes you and who doesn't like you. We don't care. All we know is that people who listen to my show know who you are. All right? And you are doing a podcast. We are reviewing it. Nothing more. If you weren't such a dumb shit, you would have taken me up on my offer where you could lean into it. We would have you on our show. You would laugh along with it, and then we would review it. Eventually, we would probably wear that out and then actually just have you on as a correspondent. But you're such a dumbass, you can't even do that. Trust me, I've done this myself. I had to eat so much shit when Carl and Trucker Andy ripped me a new asshole. But I laughed it off, and now I'm a regular on that show. So, no, Ben is not your enemy, nor am I. We just like making fun of you. The same would go for anybody else. If Joe decided to come up with a podcast, we would review that. But I actually don't like Joe on that one. Tyler says, to be fair, you basically asked Carl to review your podcast. Yeah, bullshit, I did. It did backfire in my face, but that was not like a plan. Amanda says, don't say you make fun of him. You make fun of his podcast. That's true. I don't know anything about him personally. I make fun of the podcast and the shit he does on a show. It's a shitty show, so I make fun of it. The same way, okay, when people make fun of me, all right, they're going to make fun of you. Great. Like when the dumbasses from the Boomer Bunker make fun of me. I'm not going to sit there and go, no, I don't do that. I'll just make fun of you. That's all right. That's how the game goes. If that's why I make fun of Freeburn Hot Wings. The show sucks. It's a horrible show. The shit that I used to record when we ripped myself a new asshole. Those are terrible moments. Those are bad. I'm sure there's plenty bad ones here. If somebody did Who Are These Zanes Part 2, who gives a fuck? You can find something terrible in anybody. So that's awesome. I love that he said, I miss you in my DMs. He's always so icky. He seems like he's a little boy, like a very childlike soul. And just really, really odd to me, his approach on things. Justin Now is AKA Mr. Positivity. Yeah, that's like his thing. It's like, oh man, you are good. I love you. Everyone loves you. It's like, dude, we don't need somebody doing a podcast to tell us those things. Okay? We have John Tesh. Just be funny. Do something interesting. Don't just sit around and tell people that they're worth something because they're not. Look at Larry Nassar. He's not worth anything. Oh, how dare you say the word Larry Nassar? Oh, my God. Shut up. Ryan says there's something extra terrible about recording your own laugh tracks and squeezing them into an edit. Adds a new layer of shitty. Yes, that's true. And we are here to pick that apart. If Justin was smart, he'd listen to it and say, God damn it, he's right. I don't edit shit on my show. And part of the reason is because that's a natural speaking pattern. It's conversation. True, it's monologue style, but so is yours. If you fucking hyper edit everything, take out every breath, pop, out of it, it doesn't sound the way people talk, you dumb fuck. Cole writes, I heard Nassar had something to do with those terrible Michigan State jerseys also. Ryler, damn it. See, if I were Justin, I'd edit that out, but that's fucking funny. Oh, I got to edit out where I called Ryan Ryler. I combined Ryan and Tyler to give you Ryler. Aram says, to be fair, Eric put himself on Carl's radar by emailing him to not review the show review the EZSP podcast more than once. Okay. You're fucking some of that up. I reached out to him, and when you say emailed him to not review, I didn't say, hey, please don't review. I reached out and said, hello, I love your show. That's what I did. In hopes that, if he saw that, he would not want to review the show. But so one of you, a guy named Garrett, I don't know who he is. I just know his name is Garrett. You see him in here from time to time. Had heard me talking about it on this show, and he was ahead of me and sent the first email saying, this is ZZ. He sucks dick. You got to kill him. So it all lined up. Had I not spoken of Carl's show, through attrition, he may have one day have heard of me and ripped me a new one. But I'm kind of happy the way it went. But nobody believes my take on this. Even Carl. When I say what I just told you, he goes, yeah, right. Okay. And I'm like, I want to punch your fucking face, all right? My God. I just talked to Carl yesterday. He's doing very well. I'll be doing an upcoming show in August, and then in September, I will be at the Magic Bag Show in Detroit, live, WATP Live. Kyle says, I'm glad the way that it worked out. I love WATP and his other shows and this whole Dabbleverse drama that is going on. Yeah, it's so much to follow. Carl just reached out to me about another show he's doing with, I forget the guy's name, where they review radio shows. It's literally Jocktober. And he invited me to be on it with the guy, and it was just a passing conversation. But I told him, well, of course I'll do it. If anytime I'm invited to do something, I'll do it until I can't. Which reminds me, I owe E-Rock a show on Compound Media. I'm just saying that so that I'll remember, which I won't. All right, I got to call my dad for Dear Meathead. But before I do that, I got to kick some of you out. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Thank you. Follow me on Twitch. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/Eric Zane. Free for 7 days today. Big Fraud Wednesday. Who are these free beers? Who are these Zanes? And the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. Thank you.